Welcome to episode 304 of the Overlook Hour. I'm your host, Mark Little. Along with me, as always, is the man sitting at the table across from me. He is wearing a black long-sleeve t-shirt. I will not tell you what is on that black long-sleeve t-shirt because, frankly, just between us girls, it's disgusting. It's Russell John, the Fisherman.
Why? Honestly, it is kind of foul.
It's super foul.
Hello, everyone. No, yeah, it's Oksana. I got mad at her because I thought she got me a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
But it turns out I just ordered this sweatshirt months ago, and she fake gave it to me. We don't do gifts for each other. Our gift is the eternal love and the fact that we were able to find our soulmates on this planet. So that's it. No more gifts. Right?
Ever?
All right. Well, while I remove the vomit from my throat, I will introduce Oksana Valerianova Osachi.
Hi. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It is a new year.
Yep. First episode of the year.
I don't like your enthusiasm. You're gonna need to dial that back. Okay. I don't want to read your very loud t-shirt today.
It's just neon green.
Yeah.
Just read my left arm.
Yeah. On his left arm of this said sweatshirt, it says, "Warning, goth girls only." And
Randy gets it.
To bring us in and provide his commentary on this ridiculous beginning of this ridiculous year known as 2022, it's Randy Michael Stapp.
That's me. Welcome to 2022. I couldn't recognize actually anything on your t-shirt because it's in what I call too metal to read font. Although I do think I see a Stussy sign on it.
Dude, there's a lot of shit going on here.
It's very big.
Just for the record, I'm currently also wearing another plain t-shirt. It is not white. It is now gray, and it has a pocket T, or it has a pocket on the chest.
You like a pocket T?
I do, yeah. Sometimes I'll throw the mask in there, or I don't know. It's got utility.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I've become more of the pocket T guy myself, or just pockets in general. I put lighters in there. I put Vax cards in there.
You got to start rolling up your sleeve to put the Camel lights you carry around with you.
Hell yeah. That's greaser style?
Yeah.
That's right. And go in. One ticket for West Side Story, please.
I mean, I'm in my cool long sleeve today, but you're dressed like you're damn it. What was the reference I made earlier that was good?
I dressed like I'm fucking cool.
Like you're on the waterfront.
Yeah, except now I got my cocaine dealer.
Was that Frank Capra?
Frank Capra?
Isn't
No, that's Elia Kazan.
Elia Kazan.
Correct.
The godfather of what is it? What's that style of acting?
What?
The one
Marlon Brando. You're thinking the actor. We named the director. Marlon Brando.
I'm thinking the director.
Elia Kazan.
Elia Kazan. Yeah, he's the godfather of
Propaganda?
No.
Getting blacklisted?
Method acting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah, I learned that in one of my very learned classes that I took.
Oh, from Skyline?
Yeah,
where did you go?
I think
you
it was Skyline. Oh, it was. What was it?
City College.
I went to City.
You don't remember what community college you went
take
to.
it very fucking seriously if you haven't noticed. Yeah, he's the godfather of the thing. I already forgot what I called it.
Well, James
This
Brown?
is the problem. You can't eat before we record. And I mean, you eat all the time.
I can't eat before we record.
I know.
No, I don't eat. I'm not going to eat in 2022.
Dude, I thought about starting off with a 72-hour fast.
Well, you're an idiot.
I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it once a month.
What's the longest you fasted?
On purpose?
Yeah.
Actually, I think I've gone
this conversation.
I've gone over 48 hours. I did in high school.
48?
Yeah. It was the burrito battle I did in high school with a friend.
I don't know what that means.
We broke on a burrito because his mom bought him one and he was like, dude, I'll split it with you if we call a truce.
I've done 24.
Yeah, but I thought it was hallucinating. Clearly I wasn't.
No, I think you certainly are.
No, you do.
You probably were.
No. You start to feel euphoric. I'll tell you that. There's like this moment of clarity after 24 hours that I've hit before where it's kind of like lights like look different. You're like, whoa.
I never hit that.
Really?
I think you took mushrooms.
No, I did not.
Were you drinking water through these?
Yeah. Well,
no water.
no calories is what you're trying to go for. I would even have coffee, but like,
I mean, when you were in high school,
yeah, probably. I don't know.
you were just
I've been bad at
dehydrated.
drinking water my whole life.
Why?
That's my resolution in 2022.
It's the oil for your body.
I know, but I'm also bad at changing the oil on my car. So
That's fair.
similar theme. How are you with the oil change?
Dude, I never drive my car.
That's
So
true.
like I haven't had an oil change in, let's call it, a year, but I'm still okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you mostly got to worry about your battery now.
I know I crank it up every now and again. I know.
You crank it off every now and then too.
I jerk off my car? Is that the implication?
That's what I mean, sort of.
What is this, Titan? Dude, imagine me dancing on that car like the girl in Titan.
Dude, that'd be hot.
I would be into that.
Randy, what did you do for New Year's?
Let's get
I just
Giuseppe over
realized.
here.
I went to a local drinking hole by myself and had a drink, and I did the New York Times mini crossword puzzle of the day. And I read about 30 pages of a sci-fi novel, and then I actually met strangers there and ended up talking to people.
Whoa.
Okay.
And I also
Got my dick sucked.
did a shot with said people.
Whoa.
Shot of what?
Whiskey.
Oh, I was going to guess Pfizer.
What?
I already got 3. Yeah, it was good though. And I was in the house by 11, baby.
What? So you did it wrong?
No, I did it right, because what I did is I came home. I took some, not a sponsor, but I took some liquid IV,
Oh, God.
and then I ate,
Yeah.
and then I waited till I was like mostly sober before I went to bed, so I didn't feel like shit in the morning.
Oh, my
Because I knew I would be up at like 7 regardless.
God.
Did you stay up till 12 or you pieced out?
I was up till about like 12:30.
Okay.
Not on purpose.
I also had to watch the finale of John Wilson, season 2.
What? It's over already?
Yeah,
many
6
episodes?
episodes.
Oh, God. What the fuck is that?
I think I've only seen 3.
Wait, I want to hear more about the strangers you were talking to. Did you initiate, or did they come over and like, hey, what's the book, nerd? And like hit it out of your hand?
Mostly that. I got bullied into talking to people.
They're like, you're going to drink this fucking shot, dude.
Yeah, they're like, hey, what's up with this beta over here reading a book by himself?
Paperback.
No,
or
everyone was
hardcover?
very friendly. I don't remember anybody's names actually, though, but they were cool.
Did you exchange social media?
No, sir.
Oh, that's what you got to do now. Fuck the phone numbers. That's too much of a commitment. Just be like, hey, you on Instagram? And then,
No, I like this late 90s bar experience Randy just had.
I don't
Hey, they live in the neighborhood. Maybe, we'll just run into them again one day.
know.
I did see one of the people on his bike the next morning, which was odd.
Oh,
Bicycle or motorcycle?
unicycle?
Bicycle.
Of course.
Hoverboard or scooter?
Rickshaw?
Yeah. All right. What did you
That's
do on
about
New
it.
Year's, Clark?
I was asleep by 9:30.
All right. That checks out.
Hell yeah.
We hung out with Oksana's parents, and her mom, not wanting to see everybody in New York looking grim and depressed, put it on the country countdown in Tennessee.
Oh.
And I'll tell you, it was a pretty shocking contrast. It's like a tightly filled bar with a bunch of people singing country and like partying. And then you go over to like the New York Times celebration, and
Just a sad commercial
It was-
about
it was a little gaunt. But I don't know. It was a weird experience.
What time zone was the country countdown on? Because I believe Tennessee is in 2 time zones.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm
Well, if
not
it's
sure.
Nashville, it's
It was Nashville.
Is that Eastern?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've been to.
Actually, Nashville may be Central.
I think it might be.
I think it is.
There's an
Let's
easy
get
way to
the
find this
bottom
out.
of it.
It's Central.
All right. I'm glad we figured that. We unraveled that enigma.
Pertinent information.
Indeed.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was kind of fun.
We're going to solve big mysteries here in 2022.
It was interesting watching their country performances. Of course, I have no idea.
What
who
country
anybody
stars?
was.
Toby Keith.
Oksana, help me out.
that,
There-
that couple that used to be married.
Yeah. Who are
that
they?
couple that used to be married.
I honestly thought you would have got it.
Tammy Wynette and George Jones.
No, okay. No,
Kim
really.
and Kanye.
Kim and Kanye.
If they were doing country, I would have tuned in.
Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani.
Wasn't it Blake Shelton
And the country singer he used to date.
Oh, yes.
Or married to.
Yeah. Miranda Lambert.
Yeah, she played right before him.
Oh.
Yeah. So her family was up on the gossip, but not a fan of the music. So everybody kept complaining about the music. I'm like, I don't know. It's whatever.
My mom only likes country from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. That seemed to be the consensus in the room.
Yeah.
Honestly, the female vocalist in country, I'm like, I'm kind of into this. I like it.
Well, yeah. So America thought the same thing, and then they stole Taylor Swift.
I don't know. Did they?
She was country.
I feel like that's just the new model where, like, Miley, you got to jump around the genres and then.
What are you, House of Pain?
Yeah. The House of Marketing Pain. Like, they figured out how to hit every niche market. Well, I guess, is there a niche market when you're talking pop music?
Mm-mm. Talk about.
You know, I went down a rabbit hole. I haven't been in an internet rabbit hole in, I feel, years. But today, you know who I got stuck, like, Googling? Like, there's so much shit we had to do today.
Kevin Bacon.
Also, I didn't get out of bed till very late. I apologize, Randy. But I was doing some...
Where's my apology, bitch?
I'm sorry, Oksana. I was in bed way too long, and I brought her down with me. Do you know who I was Googling?
Who?
Fiona Apple.
Why?
I don't know.
Hell yeah.
I just realized I had a blank spot there, and I'm like, you know, I kind of... Actually, I do know why. Because you know how every company now there's like boutique markets and they'll have like shirts of weird designs. Somebody did a Fiona Apple Joan of Arc, and she was in front of a wall of skulls from the French catacombs. And I'm like, I kind of want that shirt, but I'd be a poser if I don't know Fiona Apple at all.
I don't think I can name a single Fiona Apple song. The only Fiona Apple song I think I could name, I don't think is a Fiona Apple song.
No, dude.
And that's Tom's Diner.
Yeah, no.
Who is that?
Marilyn Manson wrote a song about her, though. It's weird. He's come up twice already.
Suzanne Vega.
Yep. Okay.
No, dude. And I started reading this Rolling Stones article, and I started looking at, like, one of the things was her acceptance award when she first got it.
Is she holding it up these days?
She didn't look great, but she's an interesting artist. I couldn't recommend her music because I don't remember.
She looks like a divorced, sad mom.
Yeah, she looks kind of like an old.
So you're down?
I'm kind of into that.
I think you'd be into her. She seems kind of like a intellectual rebel, which you're into as you've subscribed to the Red Scare podcast. So
I was
or the Patreon. I get those kind of vibes. Where she's an outspoken woman and she's self-aware.
Fiona Apple quit cocaine after hanging out with Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, there you go.
I think I've read that headline at least before too.
And Tarantino.
I saw that article. I didn't click on it. I was mostly interested with her reflecting on her rape when she was 12 and kind of working through how it's changed her as an adult.
Sure.
I was really interested in it. I mean, sad fucking story. It happened. Well, it happened right outside of her apartment. And she talked about...
She had an apartment when she was 12?
Well, her parents. But she was getting into it from school. And there are 3 locks on the door. And she got 2 of them open before the dude, got her. And her dog was on the other side of the door barking. And she thinks the dog saved her life because the dude probably would have brought her in. Except he's like, well, I'm not going to go in there with the dog. So, it just happened in the hallway. Oh, brutal. Super interesting, though. So I'm a fan. I don't know her music. So, I'll probably add that on Spotify. Yeah, so I laid in bed today doing that. Sorry about that. Because I know Randy texted everybody at 10? You're like, what the hell's going on today? Or I think you said
a couple times.
Yeah, because you went out to buy dino kale. What the hell were you talking about, Clark?
Yeah, he's like, get some groceries. I'm like, what are you getting? Fucking ancient grains and dino kale?
Is that a real thing?
Dino kale?
Yeah.
Dinosaur kale, yeah.
Did the dinosaurs plant it?
I don't know why it's called dinosaur kale.
It's fossilized?
It looks like wrinkled testicles.
Now I know how you know about it.
It looks cool.
You drop some of that dehydrating powder you love so much on them. Or hydrating powder.
Thank you so much. This show is not sponsored by Liquid IV. Liquid IV. We're here for you.
All right. Are we ready to
All right. Oh,
this
again,
thing
it's
off.
a new year, but is it still the same old shit
What do you mean?
with fucking?
Every year's the
You
same.
forgot his name? Oh my
No.
god!
I was just trying to think of, an appropriate way to say a doddering old man who's slowly losing his mind.
Well, I mean, he didn't sound great in the pre-show meeting, but his ideas are there. He is an enigma, unlike the time zone in Tennessee.
By the way, you caught me onto a sculptor this week.
Yeah.
Ron Merck.
It's like Meuck or
Yeah,
something.
I don't know how to say it, but I did some YouTube research on that gentleman, and guess who paid him a visit at one of his installations?
That was
Epstein.
Lynch?
One David Lynch.
Oh, Epstein was my number 2 guest, Randy.
And Lynch was like, I think this sculpture shows that this couple just had an argument. And the wife knows that it's over. And the husband is like, well, I'm old. So maybe we can make it work.
Dude, that was great.
And it's 4 minutes of that. And it's pretty good.
Well, I mean, when he's not making the art, I would like to see, you could learn a lot from what he gets from art. That's pretty interesting. Also, I got turned on to that guy because I also had a quandary this week where I don't know why, but if I read a book, it only means something if it's logged on Goodreads.
Yeah.
And I had that challenge, the 20 book challenge, and it was jipping me 2 books. Like I read them, but it wasn't counting them. So I woke up early on New Year's Eve to read 2 more books so I could actually be acknowledged by Goodreads. And one of them I pulled out was an art book, which Oksana instantly called me on. She said, there aren't any words in that book. And I'm like, yeah, but if you take the time and reflect on the images, it counts.
Well, there are barely words in John Grisham books, so it's,
dude, that's a shot I don't understand, but I'm sure people will appreciate it.
I've read too many John Grisham books.
So the book that I learned about that dude who does giant mannequin people, it was in Little People in the City. It's the art of a dude named Slinkachu, good Christian name, and he would do miniature people, glue them to the ground in like urban. These are all shot in London, and then just frame them up. It's cool, but in the intro they mentioned that dude, and I was like, I'm gonna Google him right now.
Yeah, that guy's great.
Which again, you mentioned to me you listened to a book on tape today.
Yeah,
or I'm sorry, what do you call it now?
An
Audible, and I think that's the big difference for me. If I'm in the middle of doing something, I can't just like pause it and then Google.
Yeah, I'm already 1 book in 2022, dude.
Yeah, you're beating me.
Yeah. By the way, I'm back on Goodreads.
Mm-hmm.
I had to clean some shit up because the last time I was on Goodreads was 10 years ago.
I noticed.
Damn.
And
you had 2 books logged.
no, I had a bunch of. I had to delete some stuff. I was like, why did I review all of the C.S. Lewis Narnia books?
And you deleted them?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
No, I was done.
That's a gem.
And plus, it's like, so what? I read The Great Gatsby. That's gone.
So, okay, hold on. When you reviewed them, did you actually write a review or just a star?
Just a star. I'm like, there's no way.
Okay.
How could I have possibly? I read those when I was like 11.
Are you just trying to pad your numbers?
I think I was 10 years ago, and I'm like, and not 2022, baby.
I thought about it. There are books when I go on my shelf, I'm like, I read that. I could probably rate it.
No, but I'm like, it has to stand out to me. Like there are certain books on there that I've left of like, I read Of Mice and Men 20 something years ago, but I still remember it vividly. So that's staying in there.
What else did you have on there?
I had a Richard Wright book that left an impression on me when I was a kid.
Damn it.
Probably should have read that when I was a kid, but I did, and it was cool. Just classic literature stuff.
Man, I was going to try and find you, so I just did a Google Clark Little Goodreads.
Yeah.
Your fucking boy, he muddies up all the Google searches for you.
He's on Goodreads?
Yeah, dude, he wrote a book, The Shore Break, Art of Clark Little.
Scumbag.
So if you're new to the show, there's another Clark Little. He's a world famous surf photographer. He's also big on like TikTok, I'm sure, where he takes videos of like sea turtles and shit and they go viral. And a long time ago, he did reach out to our Clark Little and said, "Hey, what's up, Clark Little?"
Yeah, 15 years ago on Facebook.
And then blame my mom. She's the one. She made him a breakout. This is her story, by the way. She's working on Hawaiian Airlines. He came up, gave her a print, which is in the room right now. It's up there framed. And he signed it for her. And she went, "Oh, this is really good." And I guess, I don't know. This is what she said. And I'm paraphrasing, so don't get mad at me when you hear this. But I guess she told him about some magazine in Hawaii. And then he had come back later and was like, "Hey, that recommendation you gave me, it's really working out." And now he's quit his job and he's a millionaire. And he was like, "Peace."
Yeah, he did a documentary about himself with Eddie Vedder.
Is that real?
Yeah,
Well, how have we never covered that?
we've talked about it.
We
Again,
have. Okay.
We've
Wait,
done
hold
the
on. I'm
show
going to make a
long
note.
time.
Clark Little, Eddie Vedder. Dude.
Anyway, to circle back on what I was saying, so I was back on Goodreads. Russell Fisher, you have just today put on Goodreads that you were going to read 50
books,
this year.
yeah. You got to up the goal, man.
Oh, no. Right, that's pretty high.
I did 22, and I started, I think, halfway
Russell,
last year.
that's like
It's a book a week.
4 books a month.
It's a book a week.
Yeah.
Hey, man, what? I can't be, look, humans either rise to the occasion or they sink to it. Or I'm messing up 2 different quotes.
Sink or swim.
No. Randy, you should know. It's a corporate thing.
Brady, how many books did you read last year?
I didn't keep a track. I don't know. Maybe like 5.
Are you going to try to read more books this year?
Maybe. I always say I do, though, and I never do. So I'm not going to get ahead of myself.
Take that as a personal shot.
Have you read Oxygen Thief yet?
No, I'm still trying to finish another book before.
Yeah, and for people that work a 9 to 5, like a regular one where you have 2 breaks and a lunch, unlike these corporate white collar fucks that I work with. Actually, all of you are like that. The key that I figured out was read on the 10-minute break. I do it, and man, I make so much progress. It also eliminated my need to get to a chapter, because when I read, I'm like, if I don't stop at a chapter or at a clear point, I'm not going to remember what's going. Fuck that. I stop middle of the page. As long as it's on the left and the first paragraph, I'm good. So just do it. Just read. Also, I feel like I'm more interesting now that I read.
Also, it's a shame that you only have 10-minute breaks. We have 15.
Oh, do you?
Nice.
I know Arizona's kind of like the Wild West out there, right?
It's not just Arizona, dude.
Well, California, we have those strict fucking work guidelines.
No. I have to remind everyone to take their break.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to get sued, baby.
Yeah. So, I don't know, read. And then,
I was like, do you know how many class action lawsuits I've been involved in
really?
because people don't take their breaks?
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
For companies I hadn't been with for years.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, do you want $1.75?
Breaks.
Yeah,
I was
okay.
like, jeez. Not on my watch.
I
baby.
always wonder who's the person that actually went through with it.
We're a nation of rats.
Well, I mean, when you're back, I don't know if I want to press back on that or not.
You don't?
No, because honestly, I think for all the people that get kind of taken advantage of in that field, it's the ones who like really weren't. Like I remember a dude tried to sue a company we worked for, and he was one of the worst employees.
Yeah.
But
also someone did sue the company we used to work for, and I got $4,000.
That's right.
Thank you.
That was the one time we had a good payday.
Yeah,
out
it
of
was
that.
tight.
$4,000? I think I got a little bit less than
That's
that.
$4,000.
Yeah. All right. Are we good?
Yep.
He's got a flight to catch. We got to let him go.
Bring him in.
All right.
Good morning. It's January 2, 2022, and it's a Sunday. This'll be day 9 and the final day of riding the fun work train through the land of holiday projects. Tomorrow morning, this train will pull into the Back At It station.
Oh.
God.
Everyone,
Okay.
have a great day.
Dude, honestly, I really like. Okay. I like that.
Is he sucking on a lozenge?
I don't know. We got to turn his mic volume down.
He had a little old man mouth in that one.
Dude, a little? His dentures were halfway out.
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to get it a little bit sometimes too.
Oh my God.
You're getting old man mouth?
I think so, yeah.
Is the humidity in Atlanta, Georgia doing it to you?
No, if anything, I feel like because my mouth gets dry sometimes.
Well, chew gum.
Yeah, true.
You know, eat more pussy or something.
I think chewing gum's kind of loud on a podcast, though.
No, it'll make you cooler, dude.
Turn your mic down. I mean, that's the key. Or I don't know. We could probably get better equipment. Although, I say that having, I'm talking into the mic that we first got when we were like conceiving the show. Look at Randy in his room. What the fuck? Your computer's like a goddamn transformer that keeps evolving every week. What do you have? Yeah, I don't know. His setup looks amazing. And we're on a plastic picnic table and one that came out of a Goodwill.
Yeah, but
It's
it's
St.
Hey,
Vincent.
one man's trash, you know?
Yeah, I know.
St. Vincent, the recording
DePaul.
artist.
St. Vincent
Great
de Paul.
artist.
Wait, that is right?
Mhm.
Now I'm
Mhm.
second guessing it. All right, are you ready? We got an angry email to deal with. If you remember last week.
Oh, all right. hit it.
Yeah. So last week we teased that the most popular and best segment on the show, the TBR report, had a angry email to come back at Clark for saying that it's time to cancel the show. So let's get into it.
All right, here we go. The TBR report.
All right. I'll just our found footage adventurer Thomas Burke, I'll jump right into it. Thomas writes, guess we're skipping 22. That's cool. 23 is my lucky number anyway. He's referring to the conversation me and Oksana had and the debate we had with Thomas about what number TBR report is, which doesn't even really matter because it was mostly to categorize for segments to put on YouTube, which we haven't even started yet. So whatever. Clark,
Yes.
quit talking smack about our segment. Otherwise, Lynch is going to have another field day with us about worker relation protocols. Please don't make me waste another Saturday on this because I know what you're thinking and you can't deflect this. Lynch is the knower of all truths. Please don't slander word from the Holy One. Okay, back to biz.
What? Thomas, I'm saying this from my heart. Go to sleep.
Here we go. Thomas continues. Brace yourselves, and I say that to Russell and Oksana, because this one feels too avant-garde for Mr. Track Jacket enthusiast.
Yeah.
But I have discovered a really neat found footage film made by Academy Award-winning director, drumroll, Bong Joon-ho.
Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah.
Titled Influenza.
Oh, God.
For those who may not know, this is the same director who made Parasite, The Host, Okja, Snowpiercer. Influenza.
Are you not going to say his best movie?
I'm just reading the email.
Good job, Thomas. You missed Memories of Murder.
All right. Okay.
His best banger.
his best banger. Tom continues. Influenza is a 28-minute short film captured entirely through CCTV footage and security cameras, tracking one man's descent into a life of crime.
I'd have watched this, dude.
You walked in and looked and then walked out, and I was thinking, should I have told Clark?
You didn't tell me.
I know, because I thought it would play better. So, way to fucking miss out on your favorite director, Bong Joon-ho.
Well, Michael Moore's my favorite director.
Evil Bong Joon-ho is also one of my favorite directors now.
Oh,
Dude, Evil Bong Joon-ho is going to be our shirt.
that's pretty good.
What shocked me the most about this one was just how realistic everything felt, from the social struggles to the acts of violence. This was just a thoroughly intelligent and entertaining film to watch, so I highly recommend checking out Influenza, available on the Criterion channel as well as YouTube. Let me know what you think. He signs off, Thomas Burke, WADNCTTBRROEIBOMBDB. We are definitely not canceling the TBR reports, or else it will be over my dead body. Love you all. Clark, let's make out.
Well, if you don't get some sleep,
Yeah, it will be over your dead body. Now,
love you, Tom.
now he mentions it's on YouTube. Don't do that one. There's a Russian dude doing a VO translating. I tried. It didn't work. So we did a trial subscription to the Criterion channel.
Oh, God.
And
Hell yeah.
I don't know, man. Criterion now, it starts to feel like homework to me. Like we were
Really?
we were going through it, and I'm like, I don't know. Is that weird? Am I the only one that feels like, oh, here's a Criterion film. Here's your tome of history that you need to appreciate to understand the subtleties of this Ozu film and the relationship between young Japan and old Japan. Also, this film is mostly people just eating dinner, so have some coffee with you. And I say that as a fan of this type of shit, but it's the extra, like, I don't know, weight added by the Criterion Channel, which in this case I thought was pretty interesting. Because with that setup I just gave, you might think that a CCTV film about a life into crime and social commentary would be boring. But dude, Bong, he kills this one. We start off with bathroom footage, and there's a man in a suit.
Was Chuck Berry there?
I don't understand the reference, but I'm sure it was
Chuck
great.
Berry used to have a restaurant where he would put cameras in the women's restroom.
Okay, well, this was the male's restroom, so we meet a dude who's he's got the vibe of a door-to-door salesman, and he's trying to market a glue. Now we know this because all of the CCTV footage in here has audio, which is good. It helps, and the angles in this fucking short are incredible. So the one we get kind of on the right side of our frame, we have a line of bathroom stalls and urinals, and people are coming in and out. You can't see any of the junk from the way it's positioned, but it's almost like the fucking Twin Peaks lobby over here, as there's like military men in fatigues coming through. There's like old people that are almost like comically old. It's just everybody. And the whole time our character's in the mirror kind of practicing a pitch for this glue. He's got an empty coffee can and a belt. And his whole thing is this instant glue is perfect and instant. Here, let me show you examples. And it's just him failing to make the glue feel believable because it sticks, but it doesn't hold very well. So he's just going over and over and over. And every now and then he'll turn around and kind of pitch it to the people in the bathroom. And it's entertaining. And as a fan of like static security camera found footage or like direct cinema kind of I don't know, horror commentary, movies like Hangman, they can be a little stale, and part of that feels by design. This movie at no moment feels boring or slow.
He's a talented filmmaker.
Well, the thing is, it's the editor. And it's one of the things that we always talk on here, where an editor is an important character in found footage. And it's because if we're going through, 70...
I wish the editor had a bigger play in this show.
Yeah, we got to hire one. When we have like 72 hours of footage that we're distilling down into a movie, you normally run up against, it's like the opening prompt of the film. Like the Blair Witch isn't a tight film. And I think that really set the stage for a lot of found footage.
It's tight this way.
It's tight that way, yeah.
I did the hang 10 sign.
Hang 10. It's radically tight.
Oh, tubular.
And there are other films that like I can never remember the name of it. There was an LA film that almost went out of its way to have nothing on frame, and it was trying to capture verisimilitude in a painful way. Here, this is tightly edited, and we're following the descent of a character into crime. So we open up in a bathroom, and we go to a subway where he's jumped. And we're not sure why, but it actually, was he jumped or dragged away by police?
It looked like he was trying to peddle the glue or something on the subway.
And they threw him out.
Yeah, the police dragged him out of the station.
They threw him out. His stuff got dumped on the street. And then, I'll tell you, Randy, the Brian De Palma double, like, split screen has never been better executed than in this movie. On the subway, we have two cameras that are aimed at each other, but very far apart. And just the way that it plays with distance and perspective is incredibly fun. Like, we see our character walking the screen, but you don't know it's him until he gets in range of the camera that he's walking towards. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but every shot, the frames are used beautifully. And with static camera and CCTV, you really got to paint creatively. You got to use a lot of creativity on your small canvas. So in here, we got a cool split screen. Later on, there's a lot of ATM footage as our character starts robbing old people at the ATMs.
What about ATA footage?
Wait, what is that a reference to?
AT.
Okay, okay.
Thank you so much.
I should power through those from now on. ATM footage. One of them, there's this beautiful scene where we have a security camera up in the corner and a camera on the ATM. And it the way that it tells the story, because we have a close-up and we get to watch him looking over at the person next to him as he's trying, I don't know what he's doing, but he's not getting any money out of this machine. And we can almost watch it happen on his face, and it feels all organic when he decides, I'm just going to take their money. And the way that the security camera in the room was facing, there's an exterior window, because we're in one of those like lockdown at night rooms, so you can be in there alone and prevent this kind of thing. And, when he robs them and leaves, you can see him outside. The whole short is beautifully crafted like that. This is great. I highly recommend it. And I did look around trying to find an alternative to the Criterion channel, and I just can't. There isn't one. So if you have the Criterion channel, check it out. I don't know if you want to, blow your load on the 14-day trial right now for it. But I don't know. Maybe I should look at it. Maybe next week I'll pull something from Criterion. And I am kind of poo-pooing the boutique, but that is kind of where I got my first taste of collecting. I think in like a serious way was through Criterion.
The original Nightmare Alley is on there currently.
Ooh. Oh, okay. See, but is that fair? Like just acknowledging something's put out by Criterion as being now worthwhile? Because they, even by their own standard, when we've seen them in person, and they've admitted, hey, our catalog isn't that prestigious. There's some titles on there,
Okay, but they know that they are tastemakers.
I know, and yet they still went with like Michael Bay.
I mean, they also admittingly told us that, they got to sell, got to move some copies.
I would have been more interested if they had used the argument that Michael Bay is the death of cinema and that he should be included.
Oh, by the way, boys and girls, Michael Bay has a new movie coming out.
Yep.
Yours truly will be seeing.
I was about to say it doesn't look bad.
It looks good.
Well,
it's called Ambulance, and the LA and ambulance is highlighted because it's about a robbery. It's a heist.
Is it in-world camera at all?
There may be a little snippet.
Okay.
But you got a Gyllenhaal, you got Candyman.
Oh, Tony Todd?
No, the new Candyman.
Oh, I mean, I guess that's better, honestly.
And he's the new Morpheus.
Dude, okay. Well, let's wrap this up then. Now that you brought it up here, I can only think of it in like it's captured in like CCTV because it's like a robbery throughout a sprawling urban center.
It looks good.
I like it when directors play with this format. And honestly, I feel like Michael Moore is already flirting with it.
Michael Bay.
Thank
you so much.
Yeah, not Michael Moore.
Uh-huh.
No, yeah, because Michael Bay, the reason people say he's the death of cinema is because he's not creating a narrative with like the control of a lens. He's capturing it with like an army of cameras and kind of finding it in the editing room, which, I mean, I kind of make the argument for here. Because with this film, it's so tight and it's enjoyable in an unbelievable way. Like reality doesn't play out this interesting all the time. But when you have an editor, and even online, you can be like, hey, I cut together a highlight reel of this guy's descent into darkness, and I posted it on Reddit. Perfect. Bam. That counts as a found footage movie.
Bad Boys is a good picture.
And what was the movie we watched where the whole concept was Penn Jillette is an editor and has recontextualized the film and does a VO over it.
That's a great movie.
Well, what was it called?
Mm-hmm.
Director's Cut. It's Adam Rifkin, I believe.
Yeah, who I've been trying to get on this show for 37 years.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to fuck with us.
I talk to him daily.
I mean, honestly, I'd love to have him on here. We could do an extra long TBR episode, and we can talk about format.
You would only want to talk about Small Soldiers.
I don't even remember the movie, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. But I would love to talk about Director's Cut. Because, again, that's a film where it's like somebody bought a DVD, recorded a VO over it, and then resold the movie, recontextualized. Like, how is that not a thing already? I feel like you can make a whole boutique out of recontextualizing movies. Actually, our homie Birdman, Charlie Dickey, who's the third guest host on the show, turned me on to Racer Trash, which is literally that. It's vaporwave repurposing of old movies. And I believe it started with the Speed Racer film. And I mean, even then, Simon Barrett was one of the contributors, and Adam Wingard jumped in there. So again, postmodernism, what does it mean? Somebody explain it to me, because I think that's what I'm trying to talk about here. Anyway, that's it. Bong Joon-ho. Bong Joon-ho. I can never fucking get that name right. I highly recommend both of you check it out, as it's Criterion Channel, Randy, so you'll love it no matter what. And it's your favorite director, and I kind of sneakily, I should have told you. I feel bad about it.
Okay.
But
he was my favorite director.
You know, I have Criterion Channel. I could have watched it too.
I know, but you wouldn't have.
He's not my favorite director because Snowpiercer is fucking trash.
Honestly, that was my introduction to him, was you complaining about Snowpiercer.
Look, he's great when he makes not English movies.
Hey, that's
true.
Right. This is not English.
Great.
Yeah. So
and he's all right. Then he's in his Q zone.
All right, he's in the Q zone, and that's gonna wrap it up. And Thomas, please don't be mad at Clark. He agitates for attention, so he really loves you.
I like it when people are mad at me.
Okay, all right, Thomas. More angry emails, please.
This concludes the TBR.
It's a good stinger.
Yeah, he should do an old man mouth version, like
Weekend Projects.
God, dude, David. I hope he keeps talking about.
That's
trains,
a
dude.
good band name.
Oh, Weekend Projects.
Weekend Projects.
You got way too fucking happy about that.
That's good.
Okay, what are you going to play in this band?
Xylophone.
It could also be like social commentary. Like
Randy, let me ask you this. If I were, again, let's just play, it's 2022, okay? It's Imagination Town. That's where we are.
So we're going to talk about work.
Let's occupy,
Wall Street.
An alternative, let's occupy Wall Street in an alternative universe that, we're in the hypothetical here, okay? Hypothetically, if I were to procure, again, stay calm, a keyboard, could I run that through the board?
Yeah, you could.
Thank you, Randy.
It's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody could have answered that. I mean, keyboards are usually built for that.
No, but I mean, like, with the show and everything.
Yeah.
Because I figured out a way, soundboard's coming back, but through the keyboard. Yeah!
Just don't get a MIDI keyboard, because then you would have to run it through software and then plug it into the board.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just had an aneurysm. What did you just say?
He said, don't get a MIDI keyboard.
What's a MIDI?
It's just a software conflict. So would an analog keyboard work?
Yeah. I mean, that or something that has, like a built-in speaker or sound. Because like I have one right here, but I don't want to move it because I have too many things plugged in.
Yeah.
But I just have like a small, it's like 3 octaves. It's just a MIDI keyboard, and I just plug it into Logic.
You're speaking
and
Latin
I use
right
Logic,
now, dude.
Yeah, for.
Yeah, we had a micro Korg here for a while, and
Logic is my favorite recording artist.
So here's no, it's not. Here's the thing. I'm worried that if you had a keyboard in front of you,
I would crush it too
your
hard.
narrow attention span would move into the world of music notation.
Okay, first
and
of
I
all,
would lose all this great conversation that I've come to know and depend on.
as a reminder, I have read more books this year than you have. My attention span in 2022 is on fire.
I don't think Audible counts. I used to
It
defend
counts.
it. I used to defend it. I don't think it does.
It counts, Randy.
I don't think it counts.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
dude. No, and again, it's just because if you're holding a book, that eliminates the phone. And the phone is your worst enemy. And whenever I walk by and I look over your shoulder and you're on fucking Facebook, a little part of me dies.
Okay, I'm never on Facebook.
You're always on goddamn Facebook.
I'm trying to get the pulse of our nation.
I know. You always know the gossip, but it's never good for your mental health.
No, I got to get out of there.
Yeah, please.
I got to get out of everything.
Facebook over smoking. Get rid of Facebook, then we'll work on the...
No, I've doubled down on the smoking.
Okay. Oh, what does that mean?
I'm 2 at a time out there.
Oh, I thought nicotine patch too.
No.
Nicotine on the neck.
Nicotine, I don't have a nicotine thing.
Oh,
It's
sounds
not
like
it's not
Addict 101,
it's
dude.
not about the nicotine.
Okay.
It's about looking fucking cool. Dude.
So when is the chew coming in?
Never.
Come on.
No, because my dad did that, and it was always gross to me. He was a snuff guy. where
Snuff
he
film.
he would film women and murder them.
and then spit on them with chew.
That's right. And he was like, "It's a family business."
He's
I'm
like,
"Dad."
drink the what do they call it? Spit. They have that like that platoon that goes like bing in all the
Yeah.
cartoons, right? What is that?
Spittoon, I think.
No, it's not.
Is it not?
Somebody, producers, fucking help us.
A spit bucket?
I think it's a spittoon.
Dude, Spit Bucket's a great band name.
It is spittoon.
It is spittoon.
Okay.
You fuck.
I was thinking
Damn.
Splatoon,
Looks
the
like
God,
a
the
bird.
Wii Switch game or whatever. Switch.
What happened to you? No more food
I
for
can't
you
eat
ever.
before. I get cloudy brain, man.
God.
I check out of Nintendo after the Wii.
Okay, thanks, Randy.
You fucked with the Wii?
Oh yeah, mostly just Wii Sports though.
What?
Were you a Wii bowling guy?
Yeah, it was easy.
Oh my god.
I didn't know. I didn't like the cockiness in that. Yeah, it
All
was
right.
easy.
We were supposed to put this to rest when David Lynch fucking flies out here and starts the show. All this idle banter shit is supposed to be done. He puts the kibosh on it.
It's 2022. It's a new ball game.
All right.
By the way, brief announcement that is unplanned and unwarranted.
I was
The lookies are coming. I
Oh,
don't know
no.
when. Probably towards the end of this month. I'm working on some things.
nobody cares.
Everybody cares. It is our most listened
not
episode of
true.
every single
Nope.
year.
You wouldn't like the most liked episode.
Also, special guests.
The bullshit. All right, I am not. Yeah, just so you know, again, we're going behind the curtain here. I fucking hate the lookies
I know.
because I hate
And that makes me love the lookies.
I hate doing. I don't like the trend this year of like new to me. It's like, what are you saying that they're like? We live
That's
in
a trend?
dude. Everybody's doing my top 9 new to me.
Yeah.
Not new this year, but new to me. And I'm like, are you saying that there were no good movies that came out this year? Because I
Yeah.
think you're just being fucking lazy if that's the case.
I just want to mix things up. So I'm just trying to think of how to keep that segment fresh.
All right, just give me a little bit of a head start because, now that I'm a book devourer, I like to critically think about everything in my life.
We're going to do
And
it
I
towards the end of the month.
I need time to reflect.
You need time for everything.
I know.
We started this podcast 8 hours after we were supposed to.
Did you eat before?
I always eat. You know that.
Also, I read an article that the sewage world has been showing everybody's got COVID. Just wanted to bring that up.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, it means we need to like privatize our sewage.
What does that mean? COVID? I think.
Oh, because they test poop.
What?
Yeah. You really didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, they take
Who's they?
Sure, the Illuminati, motherfucker.
They identify as that.
I don't know, but the scientist that was talking about it was really funny because he's like, you might be asymptomatic and you wouldn't get a test, and we understand you wouldn't, but you're gonna poop. Like that's his quote. You're gonna poop. So they're like, we're up 536% on the viral thing, and I kept waiting for that article to be like, and everybody's not dead. So this is maybe a good thing. But it never goes that far. I just thought it was interesting that there was a scientist writing about how excited he is to be testing poop.
Gross.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a perfect segue for Randy. Tell us about his shit.
You probably will think most things I talk about this week are shit. Speaking of things that kind of sound like homework, it's end of the year. People that are doing their end of the year shows on time. I've been picking up some things from more pretentious podcasts.
What a sneaky shot.
And there's this film on Mubi. I think Mubi is releasing it, called Azor. It's Argentinian. I think there's a lot of languages spoken in this movie. I know French is spoken. It's directed by Andreas Fontana. And it takes place in 1980 in Argentina. And it's kind of like a very slow burn political thriller. Basically, this guy, his name is spelled Yvan. I'm just going to say it's Ivan. He's a private banker from Geneva. And he has a partner that like was living in Argentina and kind of doing, probably sketchy banking things there. But his partner disappears just randomly. You don't really find out what happened. You potentially do. But he essentially goes there to kind of like see what's going on and sort of like take over. There's not a lot of like action or like things that take place in the movie, but there are a lot of kind of interesting and like pretty intimidating looking characters and a lot of like conversations that just feel pretty tense. There isn't a lot of score, but there's a little bit. It's just kind of like pretty sparse, like kind of synthy stuff. It feels kind of like 70s or 80s, almost feels kind of like Clockwork Orange or something sounds, like synth sounds. I don't know. I dug it a lot. The main guy, his name is, the actor's name is Fabrizio Rongione.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to say. He's really good. It's pretty much, I'll spoil it for you two because I don't think either of you will watch this. It's kind of like ends up becoming like a Apocalypse Now, Heart of Darkness type of thing. It's kind of like about his like descent into evil. It's got a really good last shot though. But yeah, it was pretty solid.
Yeah,
Azor.
I like the art style. I mean, because when you talk about these things, we just go through on IMDb.
Yeah,
When you talk about these things, I go into REM cycle sleep, but
nice.
That's not true. You were clearly all over your computer. I don't know what you were looking at,
all
but I
over
could see
my
it.
computer.
Yeah, I could see it in your glasses because you also wear sunglasses.
I can see it too, actually. The next movie that feels kind of like homework is a Kiyoshi Kurosawa movie. Do you guys know his stuff? He did like Creepy
Yeah.
and Cure.
I think Creepy maybe
Or
the
no,
only
no.
one that I've seen.
Maybe he did Creepy. He did Pulse too. All movies that I know of, but I have never seen.
You never saw Creepy?
I didn't. No.
It's long.
I
It's long.
have intended to watch a lot of his stuff before, but I've just never checked it out. This one is very much like a art housey war drama that takes place in Japan. I believe it's also a period piece. I think it takes place in like 1940. It's pretty good. I didn't love it. It took me maybe like 40 minutes to really get into it, but once you kind of like get kind of wrapped into the story, it's pretty solid. It's very well made. Solid acting, and it gets dark for sure. So, not the, I don't know, maybe you don't want to start or end your day with it, but it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I definitely am a huge fan of Pulse. I didn't realize he wrote it or that he was such a prolific. What does he do? Mostly genre, or I mean, it kind of looks like he does a lot of horror.
Yeah, that's what I've known him for mostly, but I think maybe the last couple. So I did see his last movie called To the Ends of the Earth. That was very kind of like art housey drama as well. But basically before that, I had only heard of him as like a horror director. So
Yeah, man, I really liked Pulse. Actually, I think when we saw it at the J Horror like marathon-ish thing. Oh, it wasn't really a marathon. It was programming they did at the Roxy. They might have actually contacted him, right?
I think so.
I think they did like a Q&A with him. It was
Oh,
really
really?
interesting, yeah.
He made a movie in 1994 called Yakuza Taxi.
Oh, that's
Oh, yeah.
for some reason I imagine that's brutal.
That sounds cool.
I'd watch it. Let's do it.
Is it Yakuza or Yakuza?
Both.
Yakuza.
Yeah.
I like it when you do that more though.
Yakuza.
Yeah.
That's more fun.
Depends. Is that cultural appropriation?
But what'd you say, Randy?
I said, I don't know. Is that cultural appropriation to say it that way?
I don't give a fuck. It's 2022. Yakuza.
Speaking of
All right.
22, I saw a 2021 film that I will finish off with.
Thank you, Randy son.
We're all, I believe we're all big fans of Rebecca Hall here from The Night House and Christine.
Indeed.
She wrote and directed a movie that came out last year.
Don't forget The Town, Randy.
Sure, love The Town. Actually, not a huge fan of The Town. It's been, maybe only seen it once.
It's a cool movie. It's a heist in Boston.
You
All right.
would be down with a cool guy movie. Rebecca Hall directed a movie which is on Netflix now called Passing. It does seem kind of like homework or kind of like an art housey drama, but I will say it's like beautifully directed. Apparently she like storyboarded this whole thing herself, just like in a notebook or something. It's called Passing because it is about lighter skinned Black people in in the US or whatever, who can kind of pass for white people. It's based off of a book by the same title. Stars Tessa Thompson, who's really solid. I saw her in Little Woods, I think was the first thing I saw. Andre Holland, Ruth Nega. They're all very, very good in this movie. And yeah, it's a black and white movie, which I don't know if that's, heavy-handed to the premise of the movie. But essentially, the two main characters, Irene and Claire, they were friends back in the day in Chicago, like when they were growing up. And then they didn't, see each other or hear from each other for several years. This is based in like 1920, I think, in New York. And so one day when Claire is at this hotel or something, she meets her old friend Irene, who is basically passing as a white person. And she's married to like this white guy played by Alexander Skarsgård. And then after they meet each other again, they kind of like rekindle their like friendship. And then Irene, who is essentially passing for a white person and like living in like white society, kind of wants to spend more time with her friend Claire, who she grew up with, and kind of like she kind of misses like what they used to do and like things that Black people do instead of her like, sort of like high society like thing that she's doing.
What do white people do, Randy?
I mean, they go to like a jazz club in it, and it's just like really fun, and like there's a lot of people. Like it looks like she's living a very high society, very boring life. So she's kind of, they strike up a friendship again, and it's really good. It's really interesting. I'm sure this type of material has been seen before in movies or TV, but it's kind of an interesting subject, and the two main actresses, like I mentioned, are very good. Bill Camp's also in this. He does not play an evil person. He plays a good person, essentially.
Really? He doesn't have a good person face.
I know. I didn't think so either, but he was he was good.
I like Bill Camp a lot.
And the last shot in this movie is like really, really good stuff. It's like I said, the whole thing's black and white. It's in 4:3, and I don't know, the ending of the movie kind of got me. I didn't see it coming. Go and check out Passing if you got a Netflix subscription, or if you canceled it like Clark just did again.
Just canceled it, baby.
I don't know why you do that.
I'll get it back in March when Formula One, Drive to Survive, Season 4 returns.
Like, are you saving like $30?
Saving like,
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Netflix blows, dude.
I don't know. It feels like a lot of work jumping in and out of that all the time.
I stay in the zone.
All right, Randy. Now, whenever a director is blossoming, it's their first feature, and they have like careers in being an actor or actress, I'm always curious, like, what
we
kind
say
of
actor now. It's 2022. We say
what
actor.
kind of actex? Yeah, when they're in actex, what kind of like vibe? Like, what is the pacing like? I'm always super curious if they come in like kind of like really slow paced and a lot of editing, like, because I just heard Sean Baker on that podcast you recommended.
Yeah,
he was talking about like really trying not to have a lot of cutting in Red Rocket. Because they're just killing it out there, and also it drains all of the empathy and emotion out of a room, and
Sure.
you get to feel the character more. So I'm always curious, like, do actors make actor centric movies, or was it like really cinematic? Because I mean, we're doing a black and white thing too.
It's both. I would say that her being an actor, she probably was able to get really great performances out of the actors. Like, everyone is really, really good in it, but it's also like pretty cinematic too. I don't know if you've seen the stills like on IMDb or whatever, but it's a black and white movie, and I assume it was shot digitally, but you know how like some black and white digital movies just look like weird or like too clean?
Yeah.
this doesn't look like it's like shot on film, but it looks like the kind of like, it looks a little warmer and not like super like pristine or digital. It looks like, I don't know. It feels like it's like worn a little bit.
Interesting. I also just hearing you try to like tiptoe through talking about this movie, like it just seems like it deals with a lot of uncomfortable situations. Randy, just know I will vouch for you and this whole audience. Randy is a good person, and I know what you're thinking. He called poor Ruth the N-word. That's just her last name. He didn't mean it. But I also think that the black and white frame might just be a race thing, because, you know, if we're talking about like light-skinned black people operating, I think it kind of like blends it out and makes it not as important, which I don't know. I think that's a really interesting approach. I'm into it. I'm also Rebecca Hall. I'm terrible with actors and actresses and
words in general.
Post eating and
pre-eating.
I don't know, man. You got me curious on this one, and I did like the Night House. And when you mentioned her, because you and Clark are great with the actor type, I went through her catalog. I need to start watching more movies. This week I only watched one.
Well, you don't have time because you're going to read 50 books this year.
Hey, you know what? You cheat a little bit every now and then. Just don't let Oksana see you and guilt you. That's the key to it.
He's guilted you more than anybody.
I pulled that book off and I even hid it under another book. I had a graphic novel on top of it, and I'm like, I'm gonna pad these numbers. And I walked over there and she went,
are you going to Sammy Sosa this?
No, and honestly, I figured it out. I Googled it. I'm like, why is Goodreads not acknowledging these two hefty books I read? And it's like, oh, you know what you can do? Just put a date any time in the year that you read it and it will work. And I'm like, bullshit, I did it. It worked. So I got 22. Also, Randy, you watched another movie that I wanted to talk to you about.
Oh, yeah. I watched too many things this week.
Oh, God. Can you briefly mention it? Because one of the characters portrayed in that movie is going to jail. And I feel like we need to eulogize her.
I didn't know. I also watched a retread, which is the Scary of 61st.
All right, play it.
Damn it. It is a retread. And I even set it up and I wasn't ready. All right, Randy, pretend like rewind time again.
I also watched a movie, which is a Randy retread called The Scary of 61st.
Man, I was really hoping.
Oh, it's the Russell retread.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Idiot.
I really wanted you to do the thing again because you do it really good. The next time.
I forgot about the rewind tape.
All right, what'd you think?
We were just doing a second take, though. We weren't rewinding.
That's right. Correct.
I overall dug it. Performances, everyone really goes for it, especially the one that gets possessed. Yeah, she's good.
By the way, Randy, it's her first thing she ever acted in.
Is it?
Yeah, it's wild.
Nice. But yeah, I thought it looked cool. Was it shot on 35 or 16?
I don't know.
I want to say 35.
Yeah.
It's probably shot on 35. I know it's being projected in 35.
Yeah, it's actually going to show it here at the Roxy on...
oh, is it really?
Yeah, me and Oksana thought the date had passed already, but it's on a Monday, so I'm going. I'm fucking thrilled.
Is it tomorrow?
It's in February.
Oh, okay.
I think
Yeah.
it's 21st.
So yeah, let's go out to that.
Big or little?
Big. It's got to be. They don't have a projector,
oh, that's right.
a film projector in the little one.
Oh, yeah.
But Randy, I had mentioned Polanski, and really, Repulsion is the movie I think of a lot.
Well, you know what it reminded me of most? Because you kind of got, New York City during the Christmas time. And I think there's a reference to it in the movie, is Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, I did not make that connection. It's so fucking obvious, too.
Yeah.
Damn, that's really good.
And it's very similar. I mean, it's not just her just wandering the streets of New York, but that's kind of the part that I like the most, is just her like wandering like streets, or like looking at weird architecture with like gargoyles and on buildings and stuff.
Oh, the B-roll was incredible.
Fat babies.
Well, that was what I was saying, is I'm not a fan of New York, and I hate how much people worship the city, and it gets so much love. And I watched this movie and I'm like, hey, it makes sense to me now. coat New York with like a paranoia and like a sprawling urban vibe that makes you feel a little bit trapped. And then your only, escape is to be in your little concrete room that's oddly built and full of its own lore. I'm like, yeah, I understand it now. Yeah, I fucking love that movie. And of course, we're talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, who further proof that our court systems do not work. It was found guilty. And
an innocent woman is going to jail.
She's on suicide watch, apparently.
Well, don't be sleeping on our boy Zeke, because he's been killing it with the post. Clark told me he put up a memoriam for her that said, had her birthday, and then said the death date was what, 2 weeks from now?
Sometime next week.
But did you see the one he did for Betty White? So he had one for Betty White, and it was like, maybe we should reconsider this article. And it was 3 days before Betty White died, R.I.P. And it said, Betty White talks about her diet and how it's kept her in good health. 3 days later, she died. Zeke, shout out to you. It makes me regret even more that we got your name wrong. As we called the film Possessions 2 and not Possessions.
Also, shout out to Jess Lane. Keep fighting, girl. We're behind you, queen.
What's his Instagram? It's Zekerness, I think. Zekeness. Yeah, I highly recommend y'all.
Zekerness?
Wait, okay, you're gonna see, this is what I'm talking about. Anything I get slightly wrong, even if it's completely understandable, you just got to double down on it.
Because it just sounds so stupid.
It's like I'm clawing my way out of a grave, and the dirt's already coming down. But here you are with the shovel. You just got to help it out, right?
Why are you in a grave? All right, I'm going to keep this. I saw a bunch of stuff because I'm super cool, but I'm just going to keep it light and tight. Ooh. I am not going to talk about Spiderman and how every character outside of James Franco was in the new Spiderman.
Why? What
about Dunst?
Oh, Dunst.
Yeah, the girls aren't in it either.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I was like, why? Yeah, give me a little Kirsten. Give me
a little Dunst.
Give me a little Emma Stone.
Give me a little Franco.
No Franco. Everybody else, including the Sandman and the lizard guy. Reese Fonz showed up as the lizard guy. He's in it for like 5 minutes. Like, you kind of forget he's even in the movie. And I was like, oh, the lizard guy's back. Okay.
So, wait, is Franco really like out? Like, did he get canceled in like a real way?
I mean, the thing is that he died. So I don't, but
it doesn't matter.
I feel like if, it hadn't come out that, Franco's a creep or whatever, he'd be in it.
No, I don't follow this shit that closely. And I kind of like Franco, but I also thought it was incredibly funny and believable that he would be a creeper.
Well, I'm a Dave Franco fan.
Yeah, I know. And nothing, like, he's still good, right? He's still on the pedestal.
Dave's a solid guy.
So what happened? Like, I could imagine Seth Rogen, if he's like your buddy, watch out for the knife. Like,
100%.
Yeah, because that dude will
scumbag.
Yeah,
what a rat.
So I don't believe him.
So sick of Seth Rogen.
I fucking hate him. Oh, dude, his laugh. What is that new movie he's in? God, the trailer kills me. I'm like,
American Pickle?
No, he's in a movie that looks
good. It's like 3 years old now.
It looks good, except he's in it. I think you're excited about it. People call it like, it looks like Coen-esque. The trailer's right now in theaters.
The only movie I'm concerned about is Moonfall. Thank you very much. And he's not in it.
I'm just curious how the same lady gave birth to Joe Rogan and Seth Rogen.
I know,
it's very confusing.
Gosh. Opposite sides of the spectrum. Yeah, I saw Spider-Man. It's fine. It's...
You loved it. He came back. It's good.
It's fine. I didn't love it. It's long.
Explain the tattoo then. On your neck. That's a big commitment.
Well, I like webs.
You're like, I'm really into prison art.
And I saw Licorice Pizza, which was, very cute and fun. And that's,
No, don't talk about that.
That's all fine. You need to know. The movie that I want to focus on, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary pals, as my chef friend Kenji Alt Lopez always says, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. What I want to talk about is a movie from 1989 entitled Collision Course. Now, I was perusing, for reasons unbeknownst to me, I do not know how I subscribed to Cinemax on my Amazon Prime account.
By accident, clearly.
How.
I cannot recall the event that led me to subscribe to Cinemax on my Amazon Prime account, but I am subscribed to Cinemax. I have subsequently canceled my Cinemax subscription.
What the fuck do they even show on there?
A lot of old movies. And so I'm scrolling through the Cinemax. And I see a poster. I see a thumbnail, of course. You know, that's the world we live in, where if you're scrolling through an online Rolodex, you see a thumbnail of a motion picture. Many times it's the poster of said film. And this is a poster in my 35 years of existence. You would think that I would have seen this poster, and B, known of its existence, neither of which happened until I saw that thumbnail on this fateful Tuesday night. And this is Collision Course, starring Pat Morita from the Karate Kid franchise and one Jay Leno as a hard-boiled Detroit cop. This film opens up. Jay Leno is in a 1957 Corvette, and he is drag racing on the streets of Detroit with a couple of black gentlemen. And then he gets pulled over, but he's a detective. And then he gets the number of the female detective because he's supposed to be like the bad boy handsome cop. Jay Leno has one of the most odd faces we have ever seen in cinema's history. He looks like if George Clooney broke his jaw and it didn't like go back to the shape it was supposed to. If there was a giant deformity, or if back to what you told people I had, if George Clooney had rickets,
oh yeah,
it would be Jay Leno. But let me be very clear, it's the most handsome Jay Leno's ever looked.
He looks good.
There's a couple, I'm like, you know what? At this angle, handsome. Then the other angle, he looks like a crescent moon clown.
Oh, you could call that like Rourke syndrome, what you were talking about.
Mickey Rourke?
Yeah, like a Mickey Rourke.
Well, Mickey Rourke straight up looks like a catcher's mitt now.
Yeah, but back in the day,
Mickey Rourke looks like a piece of beef jerky caught in a dream catcher.
Beef jerky with some bone fragments in it.
Oh, man. It's ridiculous. All right. So what happens? Now, let's talk about the cast here. So as we talked about, we got Pat Morita. We've got Jay Leno. We've got Chris Sarandon, who plays the bad guy. Chris Sarandon, of course, is Susan Sarandon's brother, but you may know him more notably as Jerry Dandridge from Fright Night. So the very debonair vampire. Chris Sarandon's cool, by the way. I like Chris Sarandon.
Also the detective in Child's Play.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Handsome man.
Yeah.
Ernie Hudson is in this. We also have Randall Tex Cobb who shows up. Randall Tex Cobb, any movie from the 80s and where you have a giant goon in it, it's probably Randall Tex Cobb. Used to be a kickboxer. Tom Noonan is in this as one of the heavies. Tom Noonan plays Chris Sarandon's right-hand man. His name is Scully. He is tall. He is gaunt. He takes this role so seriously. I love it when Tom Noonan shows up and stuff like that because this is a goofy 80s comedy that uses the word Jap far too many times. Tonally, it is a mess. At the end of the movie, one of the climaxes, Jay Leno is on a motorcycle with Pat Morita. They hit a ramp and they end up going in the Detroit Grand Prix. They used to race Formula One in Detroit. And the whole movie is centered around that. So of course,
okay.
now I had no reference to this.
All right.
I know that they used to race in Detroit, and they stopped racing in Detroit because it was the worst race they ever had. It was a terrible track.
I would like to watch that.
Jay Leno races F1 cars in his motorcycle with Pat Morita on the back, riding him like a little spider monkey.
Cool. Like Speed Racer.
Man. And then the Formula One guys are like, get out of the way. And Leno's like, you talking to me or my chin? Nah, I wasn't happy with that. Man. And Tom Noonan takes this role far too seriously. And it's great.
That's what he does.
I know. It's wonderful.
Dude, have you ever seen him in 8-Legged Freaks?
Dude,
He's the best part of that movie.
He's tuned in, man.
Yeah.
He is just tuned in. It's really look, this movie is painfully of its time, okay? Painfully of its time. The music, oh my God, the closing credits. This may be my favorite closing credits of any movie I've ever seen. It is Randy, are you ready for this? It is a split screen freeze frame. I'm going to say that again. A split screen freeze frame where they're in the airport. Pat Morita's in a wheelchair. We won't get into that, how he got there. He got beat up. Jay Leno's fine. And they split the screen and then they wave. And Jay Leno's like, see ya, pal. He's like, sayonara, my friend. And then it turns into the cheesiest 80s music you ever heard in your life. I mean, yeah, look, this movie is, it's all centered around Detroit and the car companies, and basically the Japanese industrialists coming in and taking away American jobs. So naturally in Detroit at this time, there's a little bit of not too great relationships between America and Japan, and they really hound on that. And it's a big part of the movie, and like I said, it's very of its time. But if you have that sort of filter with it, this is an enjoyable movie. I had fun with this one. It's ridiculous. And boy, Jay Leno in action scenes, Mamma Mia, rough stuff.
I'm trying to find the budget was an estimated $13 million.
In '89, it's pretty good.
But I can't find how much money it made. Well, because I have this theory that, like cult followings or little movies that don't get a lot of attention when they come out. They're the ones that the culture ultimately like holds on to. And like people like me, you and Randy, we'll think of these movies and we'll like cherish them forever. And it's like, then you get the blockbuster shit. And it's like, unless for some reason the culture really identifies with it and keeps it, those are the ones that vanish. So I'm like, I feel like this was probably a huge deal. And one of those things where you're like, oh, this will be a part of everything forever. And there's no need to ever, keep track of anything. And then, a decade later, you can't even remember it was released.
Yeah.
Dude, did you look up the quotes from this movie on IMDb?
No.
They're all so boring.
So weird.
Did you look them up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Detective Tony Costas, stop that garment bag. That's a quote on it.
Oh, here's this. Detective Tony Costas, who is, of course, played by Jay Leno, and then investigator Natsuo is, of course.
You skipped his first name.
Uh-huh. Yes,
Come on, give it a shot.
Mm-mm.
Because I was going to read that one, but I didn't want to try and do the
Pat
first one.
Morita. So Jay Leno says to Pat Morita, he says,
boo.
where'd he go? He says, I'm going to bust your ass. Aha, bust my ass no good.
That's the top quote.
Yeah.
Fujisaka?
Oh, let me tell you something. It's a big part of the movie.
Oh, no.
His first thing.
When I said it phonetically, I'm like,
It's a big part. I'm telling you. It's most of what the dialogue's about.
Dude.
It takes half the movie for them to like each other.
Okay.
Leno hated him. Leno was trying to bust him. Because
It's a classic trope.
It really is.
Sure, of course. Everything is tropey about this. There's nothing original. It's just weird and fun.
Well, I mean, that's the power of stars. Is it's two people that you're interested in. You're like, I don't care what they're doing. It's going to be a train wreck.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and then you throw in F1. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you have a poster in your room of this movie by the end of the month.
As an F1 fan, highly offended.
Why? Because Detroit?
Let me tell you something. Formula One is the classiest sport we have.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing we need is some Kevin Eubanks loving, giant jaw having, Conan hating, motorcycle riding jerk off interrupting our great race.
Doesn't he's a car fanatic, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit.
So, I mean, checks out. Also, he hates Conan.
I know.
He does?
What are you talking about?
I don't follow around old fucking late night shows.
Okay.
I love Conan O'Brien, and I was sad that I hadn't watched it for the past decade.
Do you not know the controversy of what happened with the late night?
I don't fucking...
Where were you?
I don't read Hollywood Insider.
You don't have to. All you do is breathe.
Okay,
go watch Conan O'Brien Can't Stop and then come back.
Yeah. Leno stole the Tonight Show from him because he wanted to come back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because Leno had that little like magazine show that he did before Conan. He's like, I'm tired of this. I want to go back to my show.
Oh, and they bumped him.
And then they didn't renew Conan's contract or however it went.
Man, I love Conan. I still feel bad about not watching his show.
Collision Course, 10 stars.
Was that it? You're not going to do anything else?
I talked a lot on that movie.
Spider-Man, me?
No, Spider-Man's fine. It's just it's real busy. The whole thing about Spider-Man is it's just, God, you have to be so in tune with all the other 37 fucking movies.
Yep.
And remember, like, okay, who's dead? What happened? Where are we? Why don't people care?
Yeah.
It's in so much Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And Doctor Strange is like, okay, who could stop him? He's Mr. Time Tunnel Man.
Everybody.
You know?
That's, and again, I've been thinking a lot about what an actual nerd is. And I think it's somebody who really enjoys thinking about systems and how they work. And Marvel is that. It's like, what do you get when you have 278 superheroes occupying one world? And then you just explore all the stories that come out of it. I get it. I don't like what you just articulated, which is like the cinema commitment you need to have, where it's like, have you watched all the TV shows? Are you caught up on everything? Have you refreshed?
I mean, it's not, it does play a little part in it because you always have to think about, the universe as a whole.
Well, there's time issues too.
Well, now they're going, it's all about the metaverse or whatever they call it. Multiverse. Thank you so much. not
back to
Zuckerberg.
Facebook, right?
Yes.
They got to set up the Sam Raimi Doctor Strange 2 coming soon.
Sam Raimi's doing that?
Yep, he's doing the Multiverse of Madness.
The Metaverse of Madness.
Metaverse of Madness.
Oh, are you tied in Iron Maiden there?
Thank you.
Dude, get Bruce Dickinson in one of these movies. I'll check it out. Make him a villain.
The one thing I do want to say about Licorice Pizza, and Randy, I want to know if you caught it. Did you catch the cameo?
Oh, I thought you were going to say an STD.
I did, yeah. The one that's about, I don't know, half a second?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you got some multiverse shit going on in there?
No, John C. Reilly shows up as Herman Munster. It's great. And did you catch it because of his voice?
That's the only reason why I caught it. Yeah, because I think there's like a tracking shot happening, and you
barely see
can't see him really. Yeah.
It was like, oh, that's his voice. That's John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed Licorice Pizza. It's a very, very sweet movie.
Well, since we're talking about sweet films, I think I'll go over and grab the steering wheel now. As the one movie I watched this week, the one feature film that isn't Film Fest related, if it's still happening, is Ebola Syndrome. And I was so happy to watch it with you. I caught you in a rare mood where you wanted to sit down and watch it. Me and Oksana had seen it a long time ago when we challenged one of our friends to bring over basically he brought a movie marathon in a bag. And we told him, hey, we're down for whatever. And we watched 5 films in a row. And he opened with Ebola Syndrome. And the film is kind of, where do we start here? Okay, it's Herman Yao. He's the guy that did Untold Story that we talked about before and loved. And that was kind of the framing we went into here. Vinegar Syndrome put out a beautiful Black Friday special release of a 4K beautifully.
Beautiful.
It looks so good.
It looked really, really good.
Also with Vinegar Syndrome, on their first pressing, they always have the limited edition slipcover. Beautiful slipcover. I love it when people treat this kind of like lowbrow cinema with like true love. And that was kind of the context we went in here, was we were going to compare it to Untold Story, which you're a fan of.
Now, did Vinegar Syndrome put that out as well?
No, Untold Story was put out by Unearthed. That's our boy.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's our homie. So again, I'll go into it. I have some stuff I want to talk about it, but I wanted to open up with what you thought, because you came out saying you weren't in love with it.
No, I think expectations have a big part in this, because
What more?
well, because again, it's always the Untold Story, and they're like, oh, if you think the Untold Story is crazy, you need to see the Ebola Syndrome.
Yeah.
So it's always, the way that this was sort of packaged to me is that the Ebola Syndrome is the next step into, vileness, or however you want to package it.
Yeah.
I had a more visceral reaction to Untold Story than I did with Ebola Syndrome.
Which, yeah, that's fair.
Also, there are stark similarities between the two.
Okay. A long time ago, I used to say this thing that you hated called being too hip for the room. I should set this up a little bit better if you're not familiar with like Cat 3 films in Hong Kong.
Good call.
Hong Kong is an interesting situation because they were under control of England for over 100 years. And then they went back to being controlled by China. And it feels kind of like in the 90s when they had switched over, they had just kind of figured out their own identity. And they were just getting the hang of like their own kind of little Hollywood. And they had like these really brutal films coming out that were, loved in England, oddly enough. And we watched Untold Story, which is about, it's based on a true event where a dude was murdering people in his restaurant and making them into pork buns. Again, we mentioned this on a further episode. I had a pizza delivery driver working for me when I managed a round table who told me that was real, and it shocked me. I loved it. They also said they discovered that people were being murdered because he was dumping the bodies in a water tower that was getting the town sick. So this is the kind of stuff we're dealing with. Ebola Syndrome, though. I'll just read from IMDb. A Chinese restaurant worker wanted for murder in Hong Kong contracts Ebola in South Africa, becomes immune to it, and unknowingly spreads the virus there, then comes back to Hong Kong and continues to infect people. Now, the reason Now, you had a more visceral reaction from Untold Story, which is a butcher kind of fucking up a family and its business.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's a smaller scale story, so I totally get it. You actually get to, I don't know, root for the family and hope that terrible things don't happen. And then they do. And they happen in terrible, like in creatively terrible ways. Ebola Syndrome kind of has that story in it, and it's just like a footnote. Because he does go to a family restaurant and he terrorizes them and he murders them and turns them into burgers.
He also takes a pork cutlet, jerks off in it, and then serves it.
Yeah. And I believe that's pre him having Ebola, thankfully.
Yes.
Now,
he did a lot of vile things.
He did a lot of vile things.
He was a known spreader of Ebola.
So I'll just give you to contextualize the tone of this movie. We open up and our favorite, Anthony, what the hell is his name? Anthony Wong, is sleeping with a woman. And it's interesting the style of sex they're having. I don't know if I'd call it making love, but it was they were having fun and it seemed consensual. Then,
but it's pretty one-sided.
It's pretty one-sided. But sometimes people are into that. And
one side.
Now, midway through this not lovemaking, another male appears. And he's not happy about it because apparently that's his wife and they have a daughter. And what happens
It's also his boss.
It's also his boss. It's also Anthony Wong's boss. So what ends up unfolding is, I don't know, what, Pulp Fiction-esque, where we have a kind of well choreographed scene of a triple homicide play out in a front room. And then the daughter's left and he leaves and you're like, okay, this is kind of brutal. And then he comes back and he's like, oh yeah, you're in there. And he drags her and you're like, oh God, what is this dude going to do? Well, if you were thinking he's going to pour gasoline all over her and light her on fire, then you were correct. Except thankfully he doesn't get to. As a neighbor walks in and he goes, hey man, fuck you. And then like leaves.
He pours gas on her.
Yeah, he does pour the gas on her. He doesn't get to light her though. And he flees to Hong Kong or he flees to South Africa where he starts working in a kitchen. He's a vile, disgusting man who a lot of the characters in the film describe by his odor. Then there's this weird subplot where they're trying to get cheap pigs to butcher.
Yeah.
And they end up going to a Zulu tribe. And they drive out and they encounter every goddamn animal you've ever seen portrayed in South Africa. I think they run into a stampede of elephants. They get attacked by a lion. There's a jaguar that shows up.
No snakes.
Yeah, I think you're right. No snakes.
No snakes. No alligators, caiman, whatever they got
Now,
in South Africa.
Whenever we introduce like a big cat or like a scary, dangerous animal,
Do they have the crocodile in South Africa?
I would imagine they seem to have all of Noah's boat down there. And whenever we're talking about animals like this, I know you probably do what I do, and you imagine some like heavy-handed editing that tries to make them look like they're in the same room, and they're not. They're miles away. Well, in this one, they're there, and there's a lot of great footage. I'd compare it to Zombie 2, where we have a zombie underwater with a shark. We get a lot of same frame interaction, and I mean, one of them is a great cat is on their car, like apparently clawing at the window. This movie's just got it all. I'll skip to him getting Ebola. He does it because he watches a Zulu woman die, and he not makes love to her also. I guess he didn't think about, like, whenever you see like a fish washed up on the beach and they're like, yeah, you probably shouldn't eat that because it probably died from something. He didn't take that into consideration, and he came down with Ebola. And this film is kind of him just living a rebellious life, not caring about anybody, and sharing his disease with them. So, when people compare it to Untold Story and they're like, this one's so much more fucked up, it's kind of because it's like you could have an Indiana Jones map of where he's traveling in the world, and then, have little vignettes of the mayhem he causes. And
I liked his performance more in Untold Story.
Well, when you have a smaller frame, like when you're dealing with a more contained story, there's a lot more room for emotional crescendos. Where in this one, we start at 11 and we stay there.
Yeah.
Like towards the end, it looks like he might settle down with the family, which is a bizarre idea because, hey, she's kind of into it too. I mean, it just sucks that as the audience, we know he's got Ebola, and like, she's kind of the perfect girl for him because she won't take his shit and she's not dumb. So she's poor and she's married to a meth head, but she's also like, don't fucking kiss me. Go brush your teeth. And it's like, why hasn't any other person said that to him?
Yeah.
Like they always talk about how gross he is, but nobody will just tell him like, back the fuck up. And so when she does, I don't know if you did. I was like, I wish this could work out. Maybe she'll be immune too. And also she has a daughter from the other marriage. So you're kind of like, oh, this can't be good for this family. The end of the movie, it doesn't end well. I'll just leave it there. Yeah. This film is this wouldn't be a fun film for Randy to talk about because there's a lot of head-on racism here. Against white and black people mostly, as our main characters are Asian and they think everybody's out to get them. Which I think is a fair portrayal. No matter what race you are, you can.
This pairs well with Collision Course.
Hey,
what a hell of a double feature!
And so honestly, shout out to the Cellar Dwellers. They did an episode on this. I think if you want you don't want to watch the film, but you want to kind of run through of it, go check it out. They did a great job with it. What I'm going to spend the rest of my time on is talking about the Vinegar Syndrome release. Now, when we threw this in, we were both shocked at how clear and beautiful it looked.
Great.
And I'm like, wow, dude, I love it. It makes me happy when you go from watching a film that's barely discernible and then it comes over into this, like, I don't know, 4K reality, and the gore still holds up. In fact, I would say it actually helps a lot of the gore in this movie because, you know, when it's kind of like blurred out and crazy, you can get the Texas Chainsaw effect where you're like, oh, it feels kind of more real. But that's only because when it's clear, it looks so fake. This one, I don't know, man. I've seen it before and it was still getting me. There's a moment where our lead character sucks the eyeball out of a woman who's alive.
Oh, yes.
And you don't see that, but they do, like, the artistry here is in full effect. Yet when we were done, I was like, dude, where's all the bonus features? Like, I'm kind of bummed. Like, this is such a nice release. Well, today when I went back and I wanted to relook at it and kind of give it a double glance for bonus features, I fucking found the other disc. I didn't realize this was a 2-disc release.
You dingus.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not used to boutiques other than Criterion, including a booklet. This one has a booklet in there. So I was like, oh, interesting. And I didn't want to take it out. I just kind of flipped through it while it was in the case. Well, today I was like, maybe I should read about that and I want to talk about it. And I pulled out, there's the Blu-ray. It was under the book, which means we watched the 4K one, which I didn't even know we could do in the Xbox.
Hell yeah.
So I don't know if we watch actually a lesser version because I'm pretty sure my projector would have to be a 4K projector to capture it properly. But dude, I don't know, maybe it's got 4K capabilities. I don't know. Anyway, there are bonus features on here and they all look great. There's interviews, there's archival footage from prior releases. I didn't have any time to look into it because I blew my morning researching Fiona Apple. But I did read some of the booklet. And one of the things we were talking about is just this kind of absurdity in just how un-PC these movies are. And I had never thought of it. And you know what? I'm not feeling up to reading a whole paragraph like I thought I was. In the booklet, they contextualize it in a way where this movie was one of the last Cat 3 films before the Great Handover, and I believe it was 1997. And they frame Herman Yao in a way where he's fighting against censorship by pushing the boundaries to an extreme level. And I really do think there is value in, like, watching a film that confronts racism head on like this, instead of kind of like obscuring it and blocking it out. And, you know, when a long time ago, like a few people might remember this, but I came on here and I was kind of pro canceling Pepe Le Pew, which is a weird thing to call back to. But I realize now I was wrong, because when the Pepe Le Pew thing came out, the creator came out and he said, are you guys fucking stupid? He's like, Pepe Le Pew is a terrible character. I understand. That's on purpose. Pepe Le Pew is a guy who is a horrible misogynist, and he doesn't get it. And he constantly is treating people wrong, especially women. That's the moral. He loses every time. Pepe Le Pew is a loser. I'm showing children if
Pepe the Frog is a winner.
No, but it's a moral story. And in here, in these films, in, you know, the Untold Story, in Taxi Hunter, the other one we have to watch, and Ebola Syndrome, these are ballads of
Yakuza Taxi Hunter?
Well, Taxi Hunter is another pairing of these two. Yeah. We can go into that another day, but I think you'll dig it.
We gotta finish the Trinity.
We do. And
The Trinity?
Yeah, that's right.
oh, to end this thought, I just think, you know, when you start censoring things, we put blinders on and we don't really deal with them. And when you're confronted with this, I think it's safe to say you don't leave this movie cheering for a protagonist.
No.
And ultimately, by the end, it kind of shows how, to keep on theme with the virus narrative we're doing, the town will build its immunity will find you. And in this movie, they find him by lighting him on fire. And he kind of gets paraded through town as a victory for everybody, as they've come together to put an end to him. And I don't know. I definitely will applaud that. And when it's this clear, I hope it gets a theatrical. And I only say that because last week I teased it. I don't know if you could hear me because I was whispering to the true listeners. But out here in San Francisco, Terror Tuesday and Weird Wednesday are back. The tickets are up online. And if you're a huge fan of Boarding House like we are here, Go check out the first Terror Tuesday. Jake, I love you infinitely for opening with that. What a bold statement to make. And I hope I go. I wish I could commit to that, but Tuesdays have turned into a production day for us. So I don't know, Oxon, we got to figure that out. Maybe we can make it like a post or pre-ritual or something. But I would kill for another chance to watch the only movie that was transferred from video to film and watch it playing screen one again at our Alamo. Like, talk about a lowbrow, like Ebola Syndrome getting a 4K release. I understand. Boarding House getting a film treatment 2 times in the same theater. I don't know. Or would you go back out, Clark?
For Boarding House?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Really?
I have an update.
Oh,
no. Play the music.
What's the update?
No. It's not that. It's at 9:30. We can definitely go after.
Oh,
Oh.
Randy, they're coming for you.
Randy, your ride's here.
Okay,
I'll see you guys later.
let's do it. All right, yeah. Ebola Syndrome. If you're not a fan of the Category 3 films, I mean, look into them. If you're a horror fan, that's one.
Hold on. Let me have a quick conversation with Randy.
Okay.
Hey, Randy.
Yes, sir.
Do you think they'll be able to make that movie at 9:30?
I would say they'd probably show up at least 9:45.
That sounds about right. All right, I'm done talking to Randy. I'm sorry.
You know, I have a feeling I know what you guys were talking about, and I feel like you're probably correct now that I've taken 2 seconds to think about that. Oh man, it's depressing. I really think you're right though, and I don't think we're not in like we used to be, where they would kind of be like, "Yeah, you're good," just sneak in through from behind the screen.
Oh, you're in with Jake?
Yeah, but I don't know, Jake. He strikes me as a dude to be like, you know the rules, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and that's why I fucking like Jake.
Hey, producers, when was Jake on here? We should be plugging that episode.
It's like October. September.
Nobody measures the episode by the month.
It was September because he was talking about screenings in October that John didn't go to. So.
What number?
I don't know numbers, dude.
Oh my God.
What am I,
276.
276.
There we go. Randy wins.
My computer's too slow.
I know time. All right. Again, 5 is Among Us. If you're a filmmaker, if you know a filmmaker, if you're thinking of becoming a filmmaker, you've got 4 weeks, and that's plenty of time to produce a found footage film. Do that now. Also, friend of the show. One of our top guests that we've had. I don't know if we don't really keep tallies of how many appearances our rotating Rolodex of in-house guests have come up, but I think that this particular gentleman is going to be towards the top of that list, and that is our dear friend Robbie Smith. Is campaigning for money to make a feature film, and please help him do so. We love Robbie dearly, and we want Robbie to get all the money in the world to make all the movies in the world, because we had the displeasure of watching him online in some contest, and it was horrible. And Robbie, I'm sorry that you had to be a part of that, because everyone in there were fucking jerk offs, and you're better than all of them. And I'm sorry that this is what the world is, that you have to play in these games. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's a 4-time guest on this show. Also, there may be a little Clark Little cameo in there. So it's on Indiegogo. So that means he's got a high goal, but any money he gets, he can keep. So I don't know, give him something. Go in there. Love you, Robbie.
And that link is what?
Indiegogo.com/projects/grieve.
Wait, whose idea was it to read the link out loud?
I mean, if you search Indiegogo grieve.
The links are good, dude.
Oh my God. I can imagine you now with your headphones blasting in your ears. Before we started recording, Randy, he had his goddamn earbuds in. They were so loud.
I was jamming.
Dude, are you deaf now? You have tinnitus, I'm sure.
No.
Oh, weird.
You're working towards it.
Yeah. That's a fear of mine, dude. I felt like I had it before. Ooh, it hurts.
I also tweeted a link to this this morning.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so help them out.
All right. Any other announcements? Anything
don't
else we
think
want
so.
to plug?
I'm sure I'll remember 5 minutes from when we stop recording.
Right, sounds good. All right, Randy, take us home, baby girl.
I know you just asked for any late plugs, but just we'll mention that a guest we had on about 5, maybe more years ago, has a show on HBO called Chillin' Island. Guest Xander Robin. We posted his episode a second time on episode 123. So I don't know when he was on first, but it's a cool show.
I got to check up on that.
That wasn't 5 years ago. Was it?
At least 4.
Well, we reposted his episode in 123.
Do you see that spider? It just dropped from the fucking ceiling. Oh my God, I hate that type of bug. Arachnid. They're gross. They're alien. I fucking hate them.
Well, this is their house.
And now you got that damn tattoo on your neck I got to look at all the time.
We're just guests in their house.